Bryan,
Hello.
you use the mic to your right. The stakeholder committee provided multiple options to cover potential budget shortfalls. Which option makes the most sense to you?
The option that I've seen from the stakeholder committee that makes the most sense to me would be some of the energy efficiency savings. What I've seen is that could be about $1 million of savings. There's other options on there as well, but you asked for one.
Okay, Mr. Powell, do you support hiring an FISD internal auditor without involvement of staff? Why or why not?
I do support hiring an internal auditor. I think it makes sense. And I think if we want to run a district that is fiscally responsible, we should have nothing to fear by hiring an auditor to check our finances.
How would you respond to parents who advocate opting out of curriculum they see in conflict with their beliefs?
I don't have a problem with parents opting out of certain curriculum. I think you have to be very careful how you set that standard. Where does it end? I know that Frisco ISD already allows parents to opt out of some curriculum. So I think it's a case-by-case basis, honestly, on what the curriculum is.
What do you think about the current non-teacher to teacher staffing ratio, and what ratio would you prefer?
I don't have an exact number on the ratio. I think it appears to be higher than what probably makes sense, but until you get in there and look at it, it's hard to tell. I couldn't tell you the exact ratio.
Next question is, given the fact that the last high school cost over $110 million, and land availability is becoming more and more difficult to obtain, how would you propose that the high school, small school model be cost effectively maintained, knowing that Frisco could be over 400,000 residents?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that when you talk about the small school model, in my opinion, we're already too far down the road to debate whether the small school model is a good model or not. There's no doubt in a high growth city that the small school model is more difficult to implement. I think the main thing we have to focus on is trying to maximize the size. I mean, how full the schools are before we build the next high school. We got to look for cost savings when building the high schools. We want nice high schools, but there's a balance. And we just have to work on putting them in strategic locations that make sense. But as far as, we've already got 6, 7 high schools. We're a long way down that path already.
Okay, will you commit to always having consistent voting times and locations for FISD elections?
Yes.
What's your position on the whole child philosophy? And how do you ensure the district is not judging families or their private values?
Yeah, I think the whole child initiative I think it's good intentions. My fear with it is that the school district is taking on responsibilities that's meant for the parents and the community. It's my opinion that the education system should focus on teaching academics and then partner with parents as far as the whole child, the spiritual and physical health, because we do have such a diverse background of students in Frisco ISD. If you try to meet the need of every child, it becomes pretty difficult to do that with all the different religious backgrounds, different cultures, different families. So I think we should stick to teaching and let the parents and the community focus on the rest of the child's health and partner. The school district needs to partner and support that. I don't think they need to lead that effort.
Okay, so we're going to enter the lightning round. So you have about 2 seconds for each question, limited to 1 word as possible. First one, have you or someone on your behalf ever offered for someone's support or campaign contribution a board position or committee assignment?
No.
Would you vote for eliminating the Pledge of Allegiance from FISD schools?
No.
Would you vote no on a board item that the superintendent personally requested?
Yes, if it made sense.
Should financial data and assumptions from FISD staff or Dr. Lyons be questioned?
Sure. Yes.
Do you support school choice and ESA?
Yes.
Should FISD pay hotel bills for board member meetings in the DFW metro area?
No.
Should travel expenses for board members and staff be on the FISD website?
Yes.
Should FISD fund travel association fees for PACs that work against FISD taxpayer interest?
No.
Should students be able to discuss religious topics among themselves or others?
Yes.
Should schools ask students about sex, drugs, suicide, or family beliefs?
No.
Should parents be able to opt out of school activities that conflict with their religious or moral beliefs?
Yes.
Thank you. You now have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Okay. I often get asked what qualifies me to sit on the board of trustees. I served on the Sparks PTA board for 2 years, leading the Watchdog program. I currently sit on the Sparks Campus Improvement Committee. I coach a youth girls soccer team that I've done for the last 2 years. I've coached a youth boys soccer team. I coach flag football. My wife and I foster kids. We've been foster parents for the last 5 years, so there's a lot of things that I do for my love of children. I'm also for Frisco ISD, but I don't believe that in itself qualifies me to be on the Board of Trustees. Frisco ISD is a $500 million district. It is bigger than 99% of the companies that's on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies, 99%. I would like you to look and see who governs those companies. They have executives and people that understand how to run complex organizations. I believe that my background and my experience as an executive leading a complex organization fits very nicely with the challenges that we're dealing with in Frisco ISD. So we're in a new time and we're facing new challenges. And I believe that these times demand that we elect new leadership that has new ideas and a new perspective to help us navigate those challenges. Thank you for your time.